In the end of the landmark Krakoan storyline for the X-Men, Marvel Comics put a bow on the finale of X-Force with an epic storyline involving Wolverine and Beast. However, in the wake of that comic book, Marvel Comics X-Men just started their From the Ashes reboots. The mutant known as Forge has seen fractures across the Earth and has just invented a new device called the Analog in order to repair them. My name is Erick Braddock, and today, let's go ahead and celebrate a new era for Marvel Comics X-Force. Before we get deeper into the video, I want to encourage you to consider subscribing to the channel. X-Force Issue 1 is written by Geoffrey Thorne, featuring artwork from Marcus To. We have colors from Erick Arciniega, letters from VC's Joe Caramagna, and design from Jay Bowen. In addition, here the cover on X-Force Issue 1 is still illustrated by Segovia, featuring artwork from Bryan Valenza. I think one of the most exciting things about this new era of X-Force is the super eclectic cast making up the team. We have Deadpool, who's guest starring just for this issue, BETSY Braddock, the character of Surge, who's also featured in Ultimate X-Men. We have Ascani, Forge, Sage, and Tank. Also want to give a quick shout out to Adventures in Poor Taste for posting the preview of the issue so fast, and to check in on some of these interior pages from Marcus To on X-Force Issue 1. I really appreciated the opening of this issue, positioning the character of Forge in a super interesting direction. Forge is currently evoking simulations relating to Dr. Henry McCoy and the future of the Earth. Following this sequence, readers are introduced to the Analog and some of the mysterious motivations behind Forge that fuel so much of the comic book plot behind the issue. One of my favorite ways about how the comic book is paced is where Marvel's editorial decided to pace the credits page on the series. I think readers can get clued in on some of the mysterious motivations behind Forge and then get their appetite intrigued by this mysterious credits page, teasing some of the additional cast members and the background behind Marvel's X-Men characters. In some of the following pages, Forge actually heads over to Switzerland in order to bring Tessa Sage back on the team. Watching the character dynamics and motivations behind Surge come out to light, especially in the wake of the incredibly dark storyline that ended the last installment of X-Force, was a welcome reprieve and a great way to get introduced into some of these dynamics. Plus, a super interesting thing about the page that we have up on the screen is that X-Force also features so much solid narration involving the character of Sage. Reading about how Sage feels about Forge in all these uncensored ways was just such a fascinating way to get clued into some of her characterization throughout the comic book issue. In the following pages here, readers are able to see the characters of Sage and Forge head into action over in Japan. Reading about some of the upgrades that Forge has managed to implement into these brand new X-Force cast members is intriguing, as these boots are laced with artificial vibranium. And in some of these next pages, readers even get to see Betsy Braddock and Rachel Summers as Ascani join the team as well. These two characters both feature incredibly heavy power sets, and some of the recruitment is directly referenced in the following pages as well. Some of these pages really show how well Marcus To is able to differentiate himself with the various styles that he can implement. I really found that this page does a wonderful job tapping into some of the artwork Lucas Wernick was able to produce on comic book series like Immortal X-Men. This does a great job grounding some of the incredibly specific genre elements of X-Force with the more reserved nature of Betsy and Rachel in a more domestic setting here. The following page actually brings Betsy and Rachel closer to Japan alongside the rest of the team, where they're able to meet up with the mysterious character of Surge. Surge is able to clue readers in on where she went after Krakoa, and also introduces a brand new kaiju implemented threat over to Forge and the rest of the team. The fact that the Analog is already aware of this mysterious threat involving Surge definitely adds some additional intrigue towards the comic book tale. And also, I think this scene really shows just how many members the X-Force is made up of and how each disparate member manages a different aspect of the team. For me, it was pretty interesting seeing Forge's interactions with Deadpool and how Deadpool was only allowed to join the cast of the book for one comic book issue. I'm so happy that Geoffrey Thorne, as a creator, doesn't have to implement Deadpool in each and every issue in the series. I don't quite think some of Deadpool's humor matches up with the super ambitious plotting or cast dynamics that are stretched out across this chapter of X-Force. Also, I found that the post-credit scene on this issue of X-Force did a great job building up the intrigue and teasing some of the mysterious origins of the team as well. So at the end of the day here, I think Marvel Comics' latest X-Force series is already off to an incredibly promising start. While I do think there are a lot of cast members spread out across the comic book, and this series is going to have a hard time paying enough attention to each individual player, it already seems like each of these X-Force characters have at least one or two plot threads that makes them interesting as X-Men individuals and X-Factor players. Also, some of the background behind the series, like the care in implementing the character of Beast conceptually into the narrative, was such a fantastic move over from author Geoffrey Thorne. Plus, all these ways that Forge is expanding some of his power set and previewing his mutant abilities are so intriguing to me as a reader. I want to know from you, what are some of your thoughts on this brand new X-Force? Are you still reeling from the ending of the last installment? Let me know down in the comments below. Thank you one last time for catching our latest review on X-Force Issue 1, and we'll be back to see wherever this series is headed next. Thanks so much, and I'll see you soon.